Hey, I'm Yianni Kourakis. It's a big offseason for the New England Patriots, coming off their first losing season since 2000 and the first time not making the playoffs since the year 2008. Now, after some guy named Tom Brady left town, they did not fill that quarterback position to their expectation. Cam Newton was a great fit in the locker room. He was liked by Bill Belichick. He just did not do enough at the position. And the Pats didn't really have a succession plan post Tom Brady. So what do? Do they go through the draft? They have the 15th overall pick. Do they stay there? Maybe move up? Maybe sign a veteran. Now that Matthew Stafford is in L.A., does the QB carousel get going? Does Bill Belichick want to bring in his former QB, Jimmy Garoppolo? So a lot of possibilities on the table at QB. The Pats also need more weapons, receiver and tight end. Tom Brady didn't have much help in his last year. Cam Newton experienced that this year. And they need to get better in the front seven, defensive line and linebacker. In total, this is probably the worst the Pats roster has looked in a long time. But with plenty of cap space and perhaps some extra motivation, Bill Belichick is certainly the guy to do it. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Yianni. WPRI, that's what I was trying to call up in my head. Yianni does a great job there. He was the sportscaster of the year in his state this last year. Now, Jarrett, that brings it up. I mean, this team had so many guys opt out. Key players, Ty Hightower, Patrick Chung. There were 8 guys that opted out. How does New England go forward here? Do they bring all these guys back? And how is that going to sit with other players in the locker room to the players that opted not to play this year?
I think we're at a different stage now when we talk about the pandemic, you guys. So, early on when the season started, there were still a lot of questions. And I don't think a lot of guys inside the locker room were upset that guys decided that they wanted to, opt out and sit out, especially with family and certain, family situations that they have going on. Hopefully that we're at a better place now with the vaccines, that the guys can feel a little bit more comfortable being back, in those locker rooms and around the facilities. But to me, that was the biggest issue, is some of your biggest players, especially on the defensive side of the ball, they opted out. So do those guys come back? And then also as well, you start looking at the quarterback position, as I was talking about before. They got to figure that out as well. They got the 15th pick in the draft this year. So it's going to be interesting to see what Bill Belichick wants to do. But also you have to look at, there's like about 8 teams in front of them that also are in need of a quarterback as well. So they're going to have to figure out, do they move up to get a guy that they like? There's, guys like Mac Jones and Trey Lance and guys like that. If they really like those guys, they're going to have to address that. But also, too, there are other positions, like the tight end position, what we've seen, which has been such a fixture in New England's offense. They need to find another guy to be able to come in as well, because that's a big part of what they do in New England.
Now, Jarrett, dynasties are a part of sports, not just football, and it's the whole thing. You love them or you love to hate them, but they always come to an end, and sometimes a franchise can have a great run. I mean, this is unprecedented with the Patriots, and it takes a long time to get back, if ever. You think about some of those things over time. Could you imagine a situation where it's a decade-long drought for this Patriot team? Because look at that AFC. A lot of teams have stepped up and upped their game as well. They're not just going to bounce right back, I don't think.
Chris, I'm shaking my head no. You know why?
I saw that.
You know why? The reason why, man, is because it comes down to Bill Belichick. And as long as he's in the game, he's one of the greatest minds in all of sports when you look at coaches. And so, I mean, they went 7-9, you guys. It could have been worse. Like, honestly, it could have been worse with all the things that we were talking about that they didn't have at their disposal. And still they found a way to go 7-9. Hats off to Bill Belichick. And he's a part of picking out the groceries as well. The conversation of what he's been able to do to fill spots and to bring guys into his system. And every team in the NFL, you guys, is trying to figure out how to have a system like what that dynasty had in New England. I think that's still there. He's just got to figure out now, with some of the maneuvering and free agency and signing guys, that they can figure this thing out. But to know that he's a part of it always gives me a lot of confidence that it won't take as long as a lot of people are thinking.
JP, maybe it could have been worse, but 7-9 is 7-9, and you don't hang a banner for going 7-9.
No, you don't hang a banner. Hey, Chris, you don't hang a banner, but think about it. I mean, they spent $1 million on Cam Newton, and that, there was COVID issues there. That didn't work out. But still, your defense wins championships, or I say defenses get you to a championship game. And when you got guys that are out that are household names not there, and not a lot at Cam's disposal on the offensive side either. 7-9, it's you don't hang banners. They got enough banners, but they know how to get. But Belichick knows how to get back to that, and that's what gives me a little bit more at ease about the situation.
So the Cam Newton thing didn't work out, but there was a story out of Detroit that Matt Stafford told the Lions, anywhere but New England. Are they going to have a problem getting a quarterback, off that free agent market? Because there's still a lot of potential options out there. Who do you like for them?
Well, I mean, honestly, it's going to be difficult. I think maybe Matthew Stafford, from some of the things that I was reading, is that he didn't want to have that mystique and that pressure of following up after Tom and bringing things back. But to me, that's like being here in Chicago, man. We need free agents to want to come in and resurrect what Michael Jordan did here at the United Center. Why not try to do that in New England? And when you have an offensive mind like Bill Belichick, I would be going there, especially for Matthew Stafford, who has Hall of Fame caliber skills. Why not go there? He must know more than we know. Man, perfect scenario for these guys. It would be to find a way to get Jimmy Garoppolo back somehow in that
Jimmy
system.
G.
If that could happen, now Chris, you're a little bit further ahead now. A guy that knows the system, knows everything and how it goes. That right there will put you in a situation to be successful and not be in this rebuild mode for that long.
And I can't tell you that I think Stafford was probably enough of the Patriot way after those last few years in Detroit with Matt Patricia.
All right, let me ask you this. This is the question before we let you go, JP. Are the Patriots in the playoffs, not the Super Bowl, but just back in the playoffs next season?
No, not next season. It's going to take I think it's still too hard. I mean, right now, just trying to foreshadow who that quarterback's going to be. And we know quarterbacks are a big part of this league. And if you don't have one, then you're searching for one, and they're still searching for one. So I don't think it's going to happen. And we're just seeing the AFC just get a lot better. It's just going to get it's tougher now. And so they're going to have their hands full. But I don't think it's going to take another decade or anything for them to get back to their winning ways, as long as Belichick is still there coaching the Patriots.
Let me write that down. Where's a pen? He says not a decade.
That division, though, I mean, the Bills are no joke, and Miami's up and coming. Last question I want to throw at you is Tua back? Why is there talk about Tua moving from Miami? Why?
What, you mean he's not in Tampa? No?
That didn't happen,
Call
JB.
back.
It was JB, you had the best poem last year. It didn't happen.
Thank you.
I think the reason why is because the other guy other than Patrick Mahomes is looking to get out of Houston. And anytime that happens, everybody else is on notice now. It doesn't matter who you have at your quarterback position. If Watson is there and available, every team other than the Chiefs and probably Green Bay and the Bucs right now want to figure out how to be able to get him.